October 26, 2024. Temperature probably in the 40s. Might have hit 50. Doing what we try to do every year. Usually we have some kind of preview of coming attractions and know they're on our road, but the wind is coming from behind me, from the west. My camera's facing southeast right now, and they are busy across the farm at Ridgeview Farm. In fact, they have already picked up the field that I normally view, and they haven't got much left over this way to get. We'll try to get what we can. I'm not sure if we're going to rearrange or not. This is the only spot I can get where I'm not overwhelmed by the wind coming from behind me. There's another spot to my right, but there's a telephone pole, electric pole, that's covered with brush that would prevent me from getting the view I want. I do have an interested party who has parked his truck in my yard a little down the road and is getting his own pictures of what's happening. So it's the Drew's Poultry Farm in their annual harvest of the corn kernels. Unlike when I was growing up and you chopped up the corn and stalks and all and put it in your silo. When you run a poultry farm, all you're interested in is the actual kernels of corn. So the stalks are just kind of chopped and dropped, and somehow that machine is able to pull the corn kernels off the husks, separate them, and they come away with corn, which they then process and feed to their chickens. Ridgeview Farm was once a thriving dairy farm, but like so many dairy farms in the country, it went out of business. They sold out well over a decade ago, and no longer any cattle anywhere around the farm. There are chickens, however, in the barns here. But this corn that they're harvesting today will be brought to Chazy and processed there. Well, it's always an interesting sight to see this corn being harvested. Normally we, as I said, can get it coming right at us. This is the equipment that's going to be working the fields immediately following the corn being picked up. So they waste little time, a lot of workers, a lot of equipment, a lot of money invested here. And when those wagons or carts are filled, then they come over here, load them into these trucks, and they're taken to Chazy. You still see some. There used to be 9 or 10. I think there's only 6 remaining of the big blue silos. Harvest store silos. I think there's only 6 of those remaining. They are no longer filled with ensilage. It's been a dry, relatively dry October, so the equipment is able to move through the fields with relative ease. This is October. Usually it's later, December. Even I think we had one year we were into January before they came here. I'm not quite sure why the early arrival this year. There's one of those trucks filled with kernels of corn heading for Shazy. And you can see the corn stalks. Being turned into what I would call mulch. And they'll be on top of the field. Provide a little bit of fertilizer. They're missing a couple of stalks here and there, it looks like, but that happens, I imagine. And having that on the top gives you a little bit of something to cover the field. And when you've got a bare field and the wind blows, you can lose some topsoil. So having that stuff on top of not only provides nourishment for next year's, but it also protects the soil from the wind. As I said, we did not even hear them. We heard activity starting around 5:30 this morning. I was hearing noises over here. There wasn't any harvesting. The harvesting they always start over in that direction. There wasn't any of the harvesting. It was working on some equipment here starting at 5:30 this morning. So hearing various noises today didn't cause me to wonder if they're doing anything out here. Like I said, with a strong wind blowing, hearing the actual tractors just didn't happen. It's a Saturday afternoon. So we are ready to start shooting some corn out. although not as wet as last year. It was a fairly wet summer this year. And we've only got 2 machines doing the actual harvesting. Years past, we've seen 4 or 5 of them out here at a time. So I don't know, judging from the number of wagons or carts, whatever their proper name is, that are here, I'm guessing that they are not cutting anywhere else. Look how wide an area that covers. And now they have it, so it's just cutting wide enough to complete. You don't want to have 2 or 3 rows standing when you're finished and have to make a trip down to get 2 or 3 rows. Well, that one is nearly full, and my guess is the one that was up here is waiting for the harvester that's near him to move down, and then when this guy gets filled, there's 2 more waiting up here to go and take their turn and getting the kernels to bring over to the trucks. A week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks and maybe a week, we were over at Babby's Rural and Farm Learning Museum, and we saw the equipment that they would have used a century ago into the mid-1900s, and 1 row at a time, originally a team of horses pulling the chopper. Or in that case, it wasn't really a chopper, it was a harvester. They would bundle the corn stalks. The machine would tie a rope around them, and they would be bundled and dropped on the ground, and maybe 10 to a dozen in the bundle. You would come along with your pitchfork and pick up those bundles, bring them to the barn. Back in the early 50s, when I remember my younger days, my father farming here on the farm where I'm standing, not across the road. This was Bill Castine's farm. This was farm, the property I'm standing on was Carl Castine's farm. He was following in the footsteps of his father, Robert, and mother, Delia. So, and at harvest time, as I mentioned, at Babby's, the farmers would get together and they do 1 farm at a time, so you'd have 4 or 5 different farmers from the neighborhood. And you had a lot of farms side by side. It wasn't the super farms that we have now. and they would come. And I remember my mother making 4 or 5 apple pies in the morning, and what we used to call dinner, lunchtime. When that was done, there were no apple pies left. The farmers came to work and they brought their appetites, and they worked. They spent the day walking up and down these fields with a pitchfork, tossing that corn onto a wagon. The wagon, as I said, was brought up to the barn, and that's where the chopper was. And the chopper, you throw the corn into that chopper, it would slide down and then be chopped and sent up into the silo. But the chopping was not done on the field back in the early 50s and before. It was probably closer to 1960 before my father got field chopper, and you were able to go through, chop, and then go to the silo, and it'd just be blown up. It wasn't, you didn't need a chopper at the silo anymore. You just had a blower that would blow that insulage, which was already chopped, into the silo. As you can see, filling up these trucks with the kernels of corn. I want to thank Kent Lapierre for alerting us. I didn't get out to my computer till maybe less than an hour ago, and saw his message saying that they were here. If he hadn't said that, I would have stepped outside 3:30 heading for 4 o'clock mass and said, "Where'd the corn go?" But again, with the wind, we were not able to hear what was happening out here. It's right across the road from us. This is what the back of that harvester looks like. It captures the kernels and shoots the stalks out, like you can see there. It's amazing that that machine can pull those kernels off the cobs and do all this in one fell swoop. It's just an incredible piece of engineering to design that equipment. It's a little easier if you're going to have something that's going to chop everything up. But to do something, create something that's going to separate the corn like this, is just an amazing piece of engineering in my mind. Well, this fellow is emptied out. And you haven't got to worry, they're nice and comfortable in the inside those cabs. Nice and comfortable indeed. So this truck is full. Next one will move up into place. There's 2 more behind the next guy, unless he's full too. No, he's parking. Well, we have 21 minutes of video thus far. We'll shoot a little bit more, but there's only so much you can do and say here. We missed the plow days this year at Tony and Marsha's farm, the John Deere folks there in Ingraham, Chazy area. We had a family picnic, the family get together that day, and weren't able to be there, but that's always interesting when they get the old tractors out and they go through and plow that land one furrow at a time. Usually when I put these on, there's always somebody that tells me how dumb I am and don't know in the comments how dumb I am to not know exactly what this equipment is called or whatever. So I apologize to all the farming geniuses out there, and please feel free to send me your videos so I can learn from them. I have thousands of acres to cover at Giroux. Somebody has to synchronize all this. I'm sure they got the manpower. As we're recording this, there are playoff soccer games going on at George Brendler Field in Chazy, and of course that field is neighbored by some Drew's poultry cornfields, and they were cut earlier this year. So I guess I should have expected that they'd be here earlier this year too. Like he's got to start emptying that pretty soon. I think he's got a full load up there. and see the yellow on the right side sinking out of sight as it gets blown into the wagon next to it. And nearby, just a tenth of a mile away or so, no more than an eighth of a mile away, there's another smaller field, and I'll be starting on that one real soon now. So I think we've seen all we need to see here. I think we've gotten the idea of what's happening on this October 26, 2024. Feel free to share this video with any of your friends who might be interested in it. The most popular video we have on Hometown Cable Network YouTube channel is one of these corn harvesting videos from a few years back. It's the most popular video we've ever done. Again, they know exactly how many rows of corn are there. There is GPS guiding them. And this video is now 30 minutes long, and since they'll be completing the cutting of this particular field when they reach the top, we'll stick around for another minute or two to show them reaching the top of the field there and completing this field, corn cutting wise. Another full truck coming by. Looks like he's ready to shoot a little bit out, but that recipient doesn't look like he's got a lot of room in there. And when I was a youngster up until the mid-50s, we did have a team of horses here on our farm. And across the road, Big Bill Castine, he had, I would say well over a dozen big white horses, work horses. And he kept them well into the 60s because they became pets after he stopped using them. So he'd send some around the different fields, and when they were here, and once in a while they'd get out of the fenced area. And I remember one time they came over into our yard and got between a couple of our cars that were parked outside and did a little denting of the side of the cars. But they were nice, big, beautiful workhorses, and the ones I remember were predominantly all pure white. So that guy is full, and we haven't got much further to go. Oh, he's almost full. Again, they talk to each other, they coordinate. And timing, you got to get your speed down exactly right. Your distance is exactly right. And when they reach up here just a few more feet, it's going to be that field successfully cut. And they only left one stock standing out there. One lone corn stalk out in the middle of the field, saying, "What just happened?" And they're starting that field down the road a piece. So that's going to wrap it up. Hometown Cable's annual look at the corn harvesting at Ridgeview Farm in Champlain. Thanks for watching, and for the few of you who understand, this is viewer-supported local television. In the past 28 days, we've received just a hair over $50 for the 28 days of the 12,500 videos we've got online on our YouTube channel. So you see a commercial on our YouTube channel, it may be paying us a penny, but a penny here, a penny there. It doesn't quite pay the cost of the internet we need to upload these videos, but it defrays the cost a little bit. So we need viewer support to help keep this programming coming. Thanks for watching.